Alright, NoGoodGamer here. Welcome back for episode 19 of Stoneblock 4. So, the things I did while everybody was gone. I expanded the downstairs, or expanded this area a bit. I finally dug out this section to kind of open it up a bit more. I can go a bit further within my chunks that I've already claimed. That's kind of where I'm pushing to in most of my floors. I built this thing. It makes plates, and the way that it works is it goes into here. Here's the recipes, and it just pushes a straight up ingot of the matching type that I want to just turn into plates. Puts it in this drawer. This drawer does an even distribution round robin to put them all into these slow melters, which basically are a one block powered version of our furnace thing, foundry, over there. And then on this side, I have all of those putting their liquid into putting all of the molten through fluid pipes that I have camouflaged as looking like bricks over into this fluid drawer. And from the fluid drawer, it goes out and it does instead of going round round like it does up here, I want it to only go to the first one. It goes to the first one, so as the first one fills, it goes to the next, to the next, to the next. So I make sure that it always gets all the use out that it can, rather than end up having a few of these with partial amounts in them. Down here in the, the computer room, the AE2 CPU room, the command room, I added some more. I did build this thinking I was already recording. But I'm kind of finishing. I'll just show you what I'm finishing up doing and how this works right now. So I have energizing rods, which while using the wrench from the power mod, if you hold them, you can see which ones they're targeting. And if you shift right click, you can go through the different things. And if we put it on link, you just right click on that and then whichever one you want to point to. Because otherwise you'll end up with like 2 or 3 of these pointed to the same one, and then that one will finally go here. It's wonky if you just don't use the wrench. Anyway, moving on. Pattern providers I have up here making the processing for whatever it needs. It sticks it into here, and you have to make sure that these are on blocking mode. Do not push crafting ingredients if inventory contains a pattern input. And then the next one you want to put on lock crafting until primary crafting result is returned. So it keeps it locked until it gets this back in, and to get it back in, I'm using, yet again, the pipes mod, with it filtered with all the things that I'm making. So it won't pull any of the items that I need to make the other things. It'll just pull out what it needs, or what it's already filtered for right here. And I'm doing that for all of them, and I still have more of these, but I'm actually just copying them. If you make a pattern modifier from extended AE, and you go through here, you'll get to clone mode, and then in here you can just move that up in there to the clone. I have it loaded with Blake patterns. I need 1, 2, 3 more of these ones, and then I'll put that back. And then I can't have that in my hand while I'm doing this. Oh no, not that either. Any wrench will do that. Anyway, you go into here, and then I'm just gonna go through all of these and put these in. So now I've finished filling them all up with all of the basic recipes, one of them having one more than the rest, that is uraninite. That is specifically a fuel for the power source that we are going to be putting together, but I am going to be making a spot that just kind of generates this. I just want this in here because I need it for the crafting as well in the beginning before I get that set up. So moving on, the true part of this that I wanted to work on was the power plant, which by the thumbnail will probably be giving away how pretty it is at the moment, but the starting point is just this. Have it large and hollowed out. We are doing a massive power expansion. Every one of these white blocks represents where I'm going to be putting a reactor, and I will not be going small on that. I'm going with the nitro reactors from Power. Doing this, each of them will be getting about 250,000 FE per tick. So I'm setting up 10 of them because I want a little over 2 million per tick. In Powa, there are these reactors. You feed them uraninite, redstone, coal, and some kind of a coolant. Now the coolant that I chose to use is Dragon's Breath. It's the second best one because the first best one is Time Fluid, and at this point is kind of annoying to try to get a hold of, and I'm not worried about trying to use that. These solid coolants, none of them are good enough for anything. So we're going with Dragon's Breath, which to get this, you just need to roll the Dragon's Breath bottles across item drains from Create, and you'll go to glass bottle, and then you'll get the liquid Dragon's Breath out of it. I said let's kind of learn together. I know the basic setup for this, but I need to double check my positions to see if this will work. Now, these, I think if you do it like this, holding shift, yep, holding shift click, and then you can create it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom ones first. Boom. We'll see soon enough if it's close enough to that. I think I may be one block out, but Max is there. Yeah, I think I need to move everything in one. So, hold for that. Alright. Now it should be... Core structure invalid. So toggle build guide. So I should have that. Oh, is that supposed to be redstone blocks? What the heck? Well, that's really awkward. Oh yeah, and I need to get rid of that. Yeah, because tier 8 takes Awakened Draconium. I think we can do tier 7, but it looks like it's going to take a whole bunch of redstone blocks. I thought it was literally just solid Draconium. Huh. So we'll do that now. Now let's see what we're missing. Oh, I think I got it all. I hear it doing it. Ho 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 ho. Now I ran out of Draconium. We learned together, but now it should finish. And make a big old crazy looking... Why aren't you finishing? I didn't run out. You didn't say I'm missing something. Why are you spawning? Oh yeah. Activate. Dun 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 dun. I'm all covered in slime. This will be a battery for us. Yeah, it holds a lot. It's not even the max tier yet. Still looks dope.
Huh?
Now to grab all of these. Come down. Boom. 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 Alright, well, here's the bonus. Have that fill, pull it directly into there. Since I have source on the network, I have 52K source in here. At the world engine, I have a spot right here. I can fit another source jar. And I believe you can directly go position set, and then set to there. Should have worked. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier. You bring this to get your source here. You connect that to the depositor to put in the jar. The jar connects just fine with the world engine. With just a 3 tall single tile connected directly to the cord underneath. And boom. Power area is essentially done. I got a little bit more decorating to do, but I did finish off the draconic battery section, so I think that looks pretty good. I set up flux point networks, so these are pulling directly from here, so these are consistently generating as much as I can, and it's going directly into my gigantic battery. It's only 5% full, and that is after filling up my wireless thing with 12 billion FE. So having this up is going to help quite a bit. I'm getting 2.3 million FE per tick coming into here. And this is going to be my main backup. It goes into here, and then it goes into my wireless network. So if I use gates for most of my stuff for machines, I can use flux points for my power generation to come into my primary battery. And this is the power plant finished. I decided to add a second layer of power plants just because. My total power input is pretty good right now. We're looking at 4.5 million per tick. We're at about 24% full on this. Pretty sure this thing holds like 2.1 trillion, I think is what that is. The final tier. I can still upgrade to it just by deactivating this and then adding the additional parts and reactivating it. But this is the final build. I did the walls in black sheet metal. Made iron sheet metal blocks and then painted them black. Use that for the walls. I'm using gray stained glass for this thin layer, and then I just continued the white anti-blocks over this way for these wings, and the black section is bright black anti-block, or anti-block wool or anti-wool block or whatever. Yeah, bright black anti-block. Yeah, bright white anti-block is what you dye that black and make this. Yeah, there's a bunch of those anti-blocks I like, which is basically how I did these walkways. Is I used framed double slabs. So these framed double slabs you can see in the little picture, it's got a top and a bottom to it, and you can like put the bottom as one thing and then say use the top side to be another, and you can use that like as a walkway, and that's what I did with yellow for these. Kind of like yellow for like power plant and industrial area. Other thing I added is this is my straight up requesting area for making uranium, or uraninite I should say. Because I now have 20 reactors, and going the slow way with my actual requesting process was getting really, really bad. So I made it to where in just one coprocessor, it can send to 4 different spots, each of which have their own laser to make this a lot easier. And I just have the universal cables fed with a gate from underneath. And I made them camouflaged to look like this because I actually have polished deep slate on the corners to make it look a little smoother. I'm trying to think of what I want to cover up the pipes with, if I want to cover up the pipes, because they're just doing their job, and it makes sure that these all stay full. I have tons of Dragon's Breath on the network, so I'm completely good on that. I'm probably going to expand this area as just a straight up industrial area. I'm probably going to end up moving down like Oratech. I'll probably set up a whole Oratech section like right here maybe, or maybe over here, who knows, because I still have to get into like the fusion reactor, I think that's what it's called, or atomic reactor or whatever. You have to use the lasers to power it. It takes quite a bit, at least to get it to work well. But now we have plenty of power. And if we somehow, for some reason, need more than 2 million, 2 million FE per tick to pull from this, I can always use my flux network stuff, because on these you can hit bypass limit and it'll go beyond any of the other limits, which these normally are limited to 800,000 FE per tick. But they can go even further than even the ender gates, because these are at 2 million and I have 12 billion backed up into the battery network. I upgraded my player transmitter to the nitro one so that I have max amount of player charging for anything that is powered in my inventory. And I added my quantum bridge card, which when you add a quantum entangled singularity, the same way we connected our AE2 network to the world engine, I added, this is our original one, I added a second one, and this is the one that's linked to me. So now I have interdimensional storage, and now no matter how far away from my base I get, I can still use it. And it also, by doing that, activated my ability to turn on magneting into the system, to my AE2 system. Because as it stands, I have fairly dramatically increased my storage capabilities.
I added 6 256k regular ME item storage cells on top of the 216ks that are barely used because a lot of the stuff in my system is on drawers, and anything that's consistently being fed into it usually has a void upgrade, so it doesn't have any reason to spread and come into here. So I feel like I've gotten my inventory fairly managed. I will be cleaning up this section at some point and setting up a dedicated, like, automated requesting section. I will probably be doing that, like, in this area over here, make it a lot cleaner, nicer looking. But moving forward, I would definitely like to continue doing decorating kind of like this, where I go a little bit bigger and make things look a lot nicer and organized. I will probably be tearing down the rest of the base to kind of put things together, because now that I have a much more consistent and good man, my English is doing bad right now. No, now that I have a much better power source up and going, I don't really need to rely on the little bit of power stuff that I have going on upstairs. I can get rid of all of that to save space, and I can start reorganizing and getting things set up much better, because we still haven't even set up auto crafting for Oratech stuff. Not as well as just expanding on Oratech to get pushed even further in this mod pack, because as it stands, to get even further in this guy's quest line to make Promethium, we need that atomic forge that I was talking about and I couldn't remember the name of. This thing is huge. It's like a 3x3, I think. And you can't power it with cables or anything. You have to use the Enderic lasers to point at it, and you feed the power into that, and that is what powers it. You can put multiple on it to make it go faster, but we're going to get some of those set up. We're going to get pretty much most of the rest of the Oratech stuff set up. And some stuff, we're going to get multiple things of it set up for different reasons and start getting things auto-generated and auto-crafted. So the next episode is more than likely going to be like an Oratech and more auto-crafting setup, but I'm going to try to cut it together a little closer like this. Possibly try to set it up a little bit better. I think I messed this one up a bit, but I wanted to extend it a bit further. I wanted to show the final build before the end of the episode. That way the, thumbnail makes sense to anybody who actually watched it. But yeah, this is where we are at, and I want to expand further upon decorations like this. Now then, leave a little love, leave a little hate. Whatever you do, most important thing is you have a good one. Deuces. Oop, I broke something.